Good morning. Welcome to Walk by Faith. I'm Abigail Knott. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and share. Yesterday I talked about the need for getting people to come on the channel and talk about their their testimonies, their experiences with the Lord, any words they've had from the Lord, because it's good. As much as we love going through Isaiah, we also need to edify the church, lift them up, encourage each other. And there is definitely a need for that. And a lot of you like that kind of content. But as I explained, God told me to do this study of the prophets, so I will keep doing it. But there will be days where I do bring words, bring visions, things that God has told me, things that God has revealed to me in the Word, and hopefully now it will be more regular that I have guests on the show to encourage you. Because I think it's very important, and I've said this from the first day that I started this channel, almost practically, that I would like to get to the point where I start talking to other people on the channel and interviewing them and talking about their experiences with the Lord, their testimonies, because there are so many testimonies out there. I mean, I hear them all the time. Another one crops up in my mind now, which maybe I'll go to that person and just ask permission to share it. But I thought it was very encouraging. It was actually a testimony that I heard about tithing and giving. And so this testimony that is coming, hopefully soon. We're just still finalizing the dates. But this lady, she is a lovely lady. She's a friend of mine, and she has a really powerful, amazing testimony. Basically, we all fall short of the glory of God, and we have all sinned. But God transforms our lives, and I'll leave that to her to say. But I'm going to be interviewing her on the show. She has agreed. She's just double checking the dates of her testimony, and then she's going to definitely come and talk. So exciting stuff. Yoo-hoo! It's a milestone for us here. Well, for me. I'm the only one who runs this thing. So yeah, that's exciting. But now for today, we're going to go into reading Isaiah 8, verse 5 to 8. And reflecting on what it says there. So it says, Adonai went on speaking and said more to me. Since this people has rejected the gently flowing waters of Shiloah, and takes joy in Rezin the son of Remaliah, now Adonai will bring upon them the mighty flood waters of the Euphrates River. That is the king of Asher and his power. It will rise above all its channels and overflow all its banks, flooding everything and passing on. It will reach even up to the neck, and its outspread wings will fill the whole expanse of the land. Here's an interesting thing. Now, I don't know, I think it was in this same Jewish Bible, but it said, in antiquity, they used to say that they used to use a flood, the picture of a flood, to describe a very strong, mighty enemy invading the land. But it's not just in antiquity, because even October 7th was called Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. That's what it was called. That's what Hamas called it. So it's not just in antiquity, it's today also. So that was an interesting connection that I first heard from Jonathan Kahn. And if you follow Jonathan Kahn, please don't go to just any channel that says Jonathan Kahn. The right Jonathan Kahn channel that has not been doctored or manipulated by others is original is the Jonathan Kahn official. The Jonathan Kahn official. That's what you must type in when you're searching for Jonathan Kahn. Okay, because that's the only proper channel. That's Jonathan Kahn's channel. So he made this connection. I first heard him talk about it, or I read a book and he said it in there. I'm sure I read it in one of his books, but basically that's what he said. And so there you can see that imagery is not just in the Bible, but it's actually for today to describe today's events also. So it's the Bible is not an old dusty book that just lies on your shelf and has no life in it. It has a lot of life. It has Jesus. From the Bible, we can learn about the characteristics of Jesus and who God is. And we, as I said before, we need to learn about where we've come from, about the sin, to appreciate the salvation. We need to understand how bad it actually was, and even how bad it is today, because even Christians turn to like funny practices, like they don't think the Ouija board is so bad, and practicing yoga. I mean, yoga is actually every pose is actually reflecting, like it's actually posing like the demon represented. There are lots of people who talk about this on YouTube. Um, and it's when for every pose, for every yoga pose, you're inviting a demon into your life. It's actually you're posing like that demon. And so we need to be aware of things that trap us. And unfortunately, many Christians who maybe don't even know, well, they're not even aware what they're doing, but they're getting stuck into this trap of deep meditation and all this stuff. And the thing is, all these things, all these new age practices and things, some of those things are actually cheap imitations of what we do in Christianity, because the enemy always has a counterfeit for what God does. And I mean, what does the word say about meditation? It says meditate in the word. That's what it says. Meditate in the word. Speak out the word, and meditate on that. But now, when you meditate, I know for a fact that they ask you. Maybe this is just one kind of meditation, but they do ask you to empty your mind and just think about black shapes. And to me, emptying your mind is dangerous. You're emptying your mind of the word, emptying your mind of Christ, emptying your mind of everything good. And by emptying your mind and trying to be an empty vessel, even void of the Holy Spirit, you are making yourself empty for possession, for demonic possession, for the enemy to start to influence your life. And there are lots of stories of people going mad from that kind of meditation where you empty your mind. I know for a fact, I know this person, well, this person is no longer with us. But I know this person that told us once at our at theatre school that he was a vessel for different spirits. And he said sometimes an old woman comes into him, and sometimes there's a little boy that comes into him and takes control. These are demons. They're not your friends. They might present themselves as your friends at first, but they are demons. And when you invite these things in, it might be fine at first, and you think, wow, they chose me, they're channeling through me and all that stuff. But soon your life starts to go off the rails. You get depressed. You get sick. I mean, this stuff can make you sick. It can make you depressed. And if you open the door for this stuff, things start actually to go wrong in your life. And this is the influence of the enemy. It's not the influence of God. It's not from God. If we spend more time trying to channel spirits and commune with the dead, then we are being with the Lord and meditating on the word and encouraging each other to live a good Christian life, then we are not being Christians. It's just putting it plainly. That is a fact. We are not being Christians. We are not walking the walk. We might talk the talk sometimes even, but we are not walking the walk, and we need to be strong Christians who walk the walk and don't only talk the talk, because the world figures it out very quickly if you are a Christian that walks the walk or if you also talk the talk. And by the way, if you don't only walk the walk but talk the talk, you will come under attack. The world doesn't like the truth. Just look at all our news channels. They don't like the truth. But you need to be someone who is genuine, who walks the walk and talks the talk, both, who serves the poor, who loves each other, who encourages each other. And this needs to overflow to people who have not found Christ yet. They need to see how you live your life. And they need to almost be jealous to have the same thing. And sometimes that is why you come under persecution. It's because people get jealous of Christ in you, what you have, and they don't have it, but they want it. But how do they get it? And so they get frustrated and you come under persecution. So sometimes you really have to understand where that persecution comes from. It might be because people see the light of the world, Jesus Christ in you, and they want it, but they don't know how to get it. So they act out in frustration against you. Just a thought. Anyway, let's carry on. So what we have here is rejection. It says, since the people has rejected the gently flowing waters of Shiloah. Okay, Shiloah may refer to the Gihon spring, just so that your understanding is not a place, but it could be the Gihon spring. Okay. So what we've got here is the people had rejected God, and I want to talk a bit into rejection today. And I really think I want to talk more about rejection after this, because we all suffer from rejection, whether it's made up in our minds or if it's actually happening. We all suffer from rejection, and we need to understand that we cannot let rejection take control of us, because it makes you angry, it makes you bitter, it makes you not a nice person to be with, because then you act out, and there's unforgiveness there also. So we really need to look into the subject of rejection. So the people had rejected God. after all he had done for them. Who here knows about rejection? I do. I know all about it. Do you? So does God. He has been rejected more times than you and I will ever have or ever will. He brought the people out of the promised land even after they quarreled and turned their backs on God multiple times. He is faithful. The Israelites were unfaithful. And the whole of the prophets talk about how unfaithful the Israelites were. And again, this is not a reason to be anti-Semitic. The Israelites are God's people. The Jews, they are God's people. As Christians, we have been grafted in and we are now God's people too. But that's only through Christ that we have been grafted in. It's not because of us, it's not because of ourselves, but it's through Christ that we have been grafted in. And now we share in the inheritance. Okay, so do you know how it feels to be rejected? How does it feel? Let's just talk about that for a bit. When you're rejected, it hurts. When you're rejected, it can be humiliating. When you're rejected, it can prevent you from putting yourself out there. And if you are purposely rejected, it's got even more of a sting because you feel like any time you put yourself out there, you're going to get smacked back down. And so this is why, and that's a lie of the enemy also. The enemy uses people. He does. He uses people to keep you down, to make you believe the lies of the enemy. And in actuality, the only thing that matters is that you have not been rejected. God has not rejected you. You are part of God's family. You are a child of the living God, and you have been chosen for Him. Chosen by Him before the foundations of the world. He has already written your name in the book of life. If you've given your life to Him, your name is in the book of life. I don't picture Him with a big eraser starting to be like, okay, I'm going to erase this because this child was naughty today and I just, no, she can go to hell. He doesn't think like that. If your name is in the book of life, it stays in the book of life. I know, I'm aware that there are some people that think their name is in the book of life because they think they're good people. But that's not, you don't have to be a good person. Well, you do have to be a good person. But what really matters is whether you give your life to Christ and you live a Christ-centered life, a good Christ-centered life. There's a difference between being a good person and being a person who God is good through. Because that requires surrender. It requires you to give up control. And that for people is scary, even for Christians. It is scary to give up that control. But we try every day, in every way, to give up control and give it all to God and ask Him, Lord, what should I do today to bless others? How can I be kind today? How can I speak life into someone's life today? And how can you use me today to do that? So, have you ever caused rejection? Now, that's a heavy one. What I mean is, for example, you hear your friend is going to win an award for being an excellent team leader. So you sidle up to the person making the decisions and manipulated them through gossip and flattery to change their mind and choose you. The the difference from being truly rejected, sorry, it's different. It's different from being truly rejected. You needed to boost your ego so much that you took something that's that rightfully belonged to someone else. That's called stealing, by the way. And we say we don't steal, but people who do this, they steal. Yes, this happens in the church. It does happen in the church. So we need to really examine ourselves and examine what is going on in the church. And we need to really live godly lives, and we need to be part of a church that cares about the Word of God and that cares about flowing in the Spirit. Um, if you were here yesterday, then you know about my testimony about how the Spirit was flowing on Sunday. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Even since I've been in this church, it's just come, it's just grown so much spiritually. It just in the time I've been here, and it's not because of me. It's not because Abby decided to go. It's not because of me. It's not because someone else joined after me. It's not because of the people. It's not because of the pastor, and it's not because of my lovely friend Mary Jane, as much as I love her. It's because we get together every week and we pray for the church, for others also. And there's a dedicated group that gets together at church every week and prays every Tuesday. And I wanted to go last night, but I could not get a lift. But I was quite bummed that I couldn't go. But anyway, get together and they pray and they speak life and they worship together. And it's obviously a small group of the church, but it actually for a prayer group, I'd say it's actually quite big. And there are people who regularly go. They are regularly there praying for the church. And because of that, God is honoring them. So, but you can feel rejected when you genuinely don't win the prize, or feel invisible when you are the only one in the room who has not been acknowledged. And yes, this may be on purpose, but it may also be a mistake. Yes, there can sometimes be people that are completely unaware that they've left you out. Some people just don't have that awareness of others. They don't see the wallflowers. They don't see the people that are maybe more quieter, that maybe maybe are not the loudest or whatever. They only kind of acknowledge the louder ones, and the more they don't acknowledge the quieter ones, they tend to kind of retreat. And so we need to be a people that acknowledges all people, whether they're quiet, loud. In fact, we need to take special notice of the wallflowers, not because the louder, more kind of man with a plan people, you know, don't matter, but because when someone who's a wallflower, when someone who's more shy, when someone who's quieter doesn't get acknowledged, they don't understand then how why they should keep coming back, and they actually disappear. And we should show love to everyone. And normally, people who are shy, people who have wallflowers, have been rejected for a lot in their life. And then if they come and there's a bunch of extroverts all around them, it can be very intimidating because there's literally no one there who gets them. I got asked once, why are you so quiet? Like there was something wrong with me for being quiet. Like, like God didn't make me exactly the way He wanted me. And this was another Christian. Like, why are you so quiet? I'm like, because I'm quiet. No, but why are you so quiet? There must be a reason. Because I'm quiet. I'm just a quieter person. I don't need to be talking all the time. No, but why are you so quiet? Like, what's wrong with you, And I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake, why are you so loud? Like, we just need to accept each other, like people are different. It's great. It's the variety is amazing. Um, I love variety. I love the louder people. They are like the life of the party. But the quieter people, it might not look like it, but they have a quiet strength that is not being seen yet. It's seen as a weakness, but they have to be very strong, kind of because of how they are in the world. They are not the majority either. So they do have to be very strong. And that is actually a blessing of the Lord. The Lord has made them like that so that they can understand people more, so that they can observe people and be understanding of people and be compassionate because they will see the other wallflowers if there are wallflowers, and they will see who those people are. And it takes a lot of rejection to make a pearl. If you think about a pearl, it's actually like a bacteria or something that's not meant to go into the clam. It's a clam shell, hey, oyster shell. It goes in and the oyster covers it with like layers of pearliness, pearlescent stuff. I don't know the technical terms, but basically it's something that's seen as an impurity that is made into something beautiful. And I'm not saying people who are shy are impurities. I can be shy sometimes myself. I used to be a lot worse, but I have actually come a long way. And I can be loud sometimes. Quiet people can be loud sometimes, but they've got to be kind of comfortable in their surroundings. And it takes us a long time because we go through a lot of rejection and a misunderstanding to get there. But we do get there. And eventually we do gain confidence. It takes us longer, but we do get there. Anyway, so just like acknowledging those people. Um, and look, Christ's words come to mind, and that was, Lord, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. And this goes even if rejection is done by someone who is caused by someone who wishes you harm. There are those people. But it's what sets Christians apart for the purposes of God, is that ability to forgive and love in spite of that rejection. And we need to find ways, as I've said before now, to deal with rejection, because rejection is like that bacteria that goes into the shell. What do we do with that rejection? We use it. We use that feeling to become more compassionate people, to become more considerate. Yet God has been and continues to be rejected by many, many throughout history and now. Every time we disobey him, we are rejecting him. Every time we neglect to spend time with him, we are rejecting him. Then in Isaiah, it talks about the enemy coming like a flood. It is God's judgment on Israel, and I've told you already. The imagery of a flood, it's used today too. As I said, October the 7th, Hamas called that Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. So, I hope you found some value out of that today. But tune in next time as we continue in Isaiah 8. It's possible that next time we'll have my friend here, but I will check with her and see when she is available. But it's so exciting that we're going to have her on here, and it really is a milestone for the channel because I have really been struggling or kind of struggling with asking people because not everyone is comfortable with this way of speaking and way of talking. And I wasn't comfortable when I first started. I took a while to get used to it, and now I'm just talking, just doing what the Lord asked me to do. Honestly, being obedient. And that's what He calls us to do, to be obedient, to show love, to serve each other, and be a light to the world. Okay, well, that's all for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.